I found out my husband was cheating on our wedding day. Not from a text. Not from a confession. From the photographer who pulled me aside during cocktail hour and said, "I need to show you something before you sign that marriage license." The photos showed my groom in the bridal suite with my maid of honor, 30 minutes before our ceremony. My best friend since college. The woman holding my bouquet at the altar. So I walked back into that reception with a smile, gave a beautiful toast about trust and honesty, then played the photos on the big screen for all 400 guests. But the real shock came when my maid of honor's fiancé stood up and announced he had proof they'd been sleeping together for 8 months. He'd hired a private investigator after finding suspicious texts. The investigator discovered my groom had gotten my best friend pregnant. She'd had an abortion 3 weeks before my wedding and never told her fiancé. The marriage was annulled that night. My former best friend's engagement ended in the parking lot. Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Cole, I'm 29 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most insane, twisted, and ultimately satisfying story about discovering infidelity on my wedding day and accidentally exposing a decades-long affair that destroyed an entire family. This happened 6 months ago, and I'm still processing the absolute chaos that unfolded. So buckle up, because this story has more plot developments than a soap opera. Let me start from the beginning. I met my fiancé, well, almost husband, Marcus Westfield 3 years ago. He was 32, working as a real estate broker, charming, good-looking, from a wealthy family. His father, Richard Westfield, owned a successful property development company. His mother, Catherine, was the picture-perfect society wife. Marcus swept me off my feet. Expensive dates, romantic gestures, talking about our future together. He proposed after 18 months, and I said yes immediately. Planning the wedding was a dream. My maid of honor, my best friend since college, was helping me with everything. Her name was Rachel Montgomery, and we'd been inseparable for 10 years. She was excited about the wedding, always offering to help, always there when I needed her. Rachel had been dating her fiancé, Daniel, for 2 years. They seemed perfect together. We'd even joked about having a double wedding someday. We hired the best vendors, booked a beautiful estate venue, invited 200 guests. Everything was perfect. Well, almost everything. About 6 months before the wedding, things started feeling off. Marcus would come home late, saying he was working on a big real estate deal. Rachel would text me less frequently, always busy when I asked to hang out. When we did see each other, she seemed distracted, always checking her phone. I thought I was being paranoid. Wedding stress, I told myself. Everyone gets stressed before their wedding. But looking back now, there were signs I missed. Marcus started going to the gym more often. New cologne. New clothes. He'd shower immediately when he got home. Rachel would mention running into Marcus randomly at coffee shops or restaurants. Small world, she'd say with a laugh. They both seemed friendlier at gatherings. Inside jokes I wasn't part of. Glances I pretended not to notice. I pushed those thoughts away. Marcus loved me. Rachel was my best friend. I was being paranoid. The wedding day arrived. Saturday, October 14th. The most beautiful fall day imaginable. I spent the morning with my bridesmaids getting ready. Hair, makeup, photos. Everything was perfect. I looked at myself in my dress, a stunning lace gown that cost $8,000, and felt like a princess. At 2 p.m., my bridesmaids and I were finishing getting ready in the bridal suite. Rachel, my maid of honor, was helping me with my veil. She'd been quiet all morning, which I attributed to nerves. "You okay?" I asked her. "Yeah, just emotional," she said, not meeting my eyes. "You're getting married." The ceremony was at 4 p.m. We had plenty time. Then there was a knock on the door. My maid of honor opened it. It was the photographer, David Chen. He looked uncomfortable. "Jennifer, can I speak with you privately for a moment?" "Sure. Is something wrong with the photos?" We stepped into the hallway. David was holding his camera, looking conflicted. "I need to show you something." I debated whether to say anything, but "You need to know before you sign that marriage license." My stomach dropped. "What is it?" He pulled up the photos on his camera screen. I was doing getting ready shots of the groom and groomsmen about an hour ago. Then I went to shoot some detail photos of the ceremony space. On my way back, I saw your fiancé and your maid of honor going into one of the empty guest suites. He showed me the first photo. Marcus and Rachel entering a room together. The timestamp said 2:47 p.m. 30 minutes ago. I thought maybe they were looking for something. But something felt off. So I waited in the hallway. 20 minutes later, they came out. He showed me more photos. Marcus and Rachel exiting the room. Marcus adjusting his bow tie. Rachel smoothing her bridesmaid dress, her hair messed up. Both looking flushed. Then one more photo. Rachel kissing Marcus. Right there in the hallway. 40 minutes before our ceremony. I felt like the ground had disappeared beneath me. Are you sure this was today? I'm sure. Look at the timestamps. Look at what they're wearing, full wedding attire. This was today, Jennifer. Less than an hour ago. I stared at the photos. My fiancé. My best friend. 30 minutes before our ceremony. David looked at me with genuine concern. I'm so sorry. But you deserve to know before you legally bind yourself to him. I stood in that hallway for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. My mind was racing. My best friend. The woman who was supposed to stand next to me at the altar. The woman I'd known for 10 years. I could call it off. Cancel the wedding. Send everyone home. Humiliate myself in front of 200 people. Or. An idea formed. A terrible, satisfying, perfect idea. David, can you send those photos to my phone? And can you discreetly transfer them to the AV technician who's running the slideshow for the reception? He caught on immediately. Are you sure? Very sure. Consider it done. I walked back into the bridal suite. My bridesmaids looked at me with concern. Everything okay? My maid of honor asked. Everything's perfect, I said with a smile. Let's go get married. The ceremony was beautiful. I walked down the aisle to Marcus, who stood at the altar looking handsome and happy. He smiled at me like I was his whole world. I smiled back. And thought about those photos. The officiant began. We are gathered here today. When it came time for vows, Marcus said all the right things. Jennifer, you are my best friend, my partner, my soulmate. I promise to love you, honor you, and cherish you for the rest of my life. I said my vows. I promised things I no longer meant. Then came the key moment. Do you, Marcus Westfield, take Jennifer Cole to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. Do you, Jennifer Cole, take Marcus Westfield to be your lawfully wedded husband? I paused. Just long enough for Marcus to look concerned. Then I smiled. I do. Relief flooded his face. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. He kissed me. And I let him. Because in about an hour, everything would explode. We signed the paperwork in the back room. The marriage license. Making it official. Or so he thought. Note, in my state, the license needs to be filed with the county clerk within 30 days to be valid. I never filed it. But Marcus didn't know that. Cocktail hour proceeded normally. Guests congratulated us. Marcus was beaming, shaking hands, accepting compliments. Rachel, my maid of honor, was standing with the other bridesmaids, holding my bouquet. She smiled at me. Congratulations, Jen. I'm so happy for you. Are you? I said sweetly. She looked confused but moved on to talk to other guests. I noticed her fiancé, Daniel, standing alone by the bar. He looked tense, staring at Rachel with an expression I couldn't quite read. The reception started. We entered to applause. First dance. Father-daughter dance. Everything traditional and beautiful. Then came the toasts. My maid of honor gave a lovely speech. Marcus's best man told funny stories. Everyone laughed and raised their glasses. Then I stood up. Can I say something? Marcus looked surprised but pleased. Of course, babe. I took the microphone. I want to thank everyone for being here today. This has been the most eye-opening day of my life. People chuckled, thinking I meant the happiness of marriage. Marriage is about trust, honesty, transparency. And I believe in those values so much that I want to be completely honest with all of you right now. Marcus's smile faltered slightly. When I chose Marcus, I thought I was choosing a man of integrity. And when I chose Rachel as my maid of honor, I thought I was choosing my best friend. The woman who would stand by me through anything. Rachel froze. Her face went pale. But about an hour ago, I learned something interesting. I turned to the AV technician and nodded. Could you please play the slideshow on the big screen? The screen behind me lit up. The photos appeared in rapid succession, Marcus and Rachel entering the guest suite. Timestamp, 2:47 p.m. Marcus and Rachel exiting, looking disheveled. Timestamp, 3:15 p.m. Rachel kissing Marcus in the hallway. Timestamp, 3:18 p.m. The reception hall went silent. You could hear people's breathing. Then chaos erupted. Marcus jumped up. Jennifer, I can explain. Explain what? That you fucked my maid of honor 30 minutes before our ceremony? Please, enlighten us all. Rachel was frozen, tears streaming down her face. Guests were gasping. Some were taking out their phones. Then Daniel, Rachel's fiancé, stood up from his table. He walked toward the front, his face a mixture of pain and anger. Actually, Daniel said, his voice shaking but clear, I have something to add to this. Everyone turned to look at him. Rachel, my fiancé, has been acting strange for months. Secretive. Distant. So 3 months ago, I hired a private investigator. Rachel's face went from pale to gray. The investigator followed her. Documented her movements. And what he found was an 8-month affair with Marcus Westfield. Gasps rippled through the crowd again. 8 months. I whispered. 8 months, Daniel confirmed. He pulled out his phone. I have hundreds of photos. Hotels. His apartment. Her apartment. Restaurants. They've been together since February. Marcus tried to speak but nothing came out. But that's not even the worst part, Daniel continued. In July, Rachel got pregnant. The entire reception went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Rachel started sobbing. Daniel, please, she had an abortion, Daniel said flatly. 3 weeks ago. She never told me. Never told Marcus either, from what I can gather. She just took care of it. And was planning to marry me anyway, pretending nothing happened. My mind was reeling. You were pregnant? With his baby? Rachel couldn't look at me. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Marcus looked like he'd been slapped. You were pregnant? Why didn't you tell me? Because she was engaged to me, Daniel shouted. Because she was hedging her bets. Sleeping with you, planning to marry me, and when she got pregnant, she panicked and got rid of the evidence. Marcus grabbed Rachel's arm. Is this true? She nodded, sobbing. When were you going to tell me? When were you going to tell anyone? I couldn't, Rachel cried. If I told you, Jennifer would find out. If I told Daniel, he'd leave me. I couldn't risk losing everything. So you got an abortion and just pretended it never happened? Marcus looked disgusted. I didn't know what else to do. Daniel's voice was cold. You could have told the truth. You could have been honest. But you're not capable of that, are you? I stood there watching my brand new marriage implode, watching my best friend's engagement end in real time. Security was moving toward us. My other bridesmaids were crying. My parents looked horrified. My maid of honor grabbed my arm. Jennifer, what do you want to do? I want to watch, I said calmly. Daniel turned to me. Jennifer, I'm sorry you had to find out like this. I was going to tell you after the wedding. I didn't want to ruin your day. You didn't ruin it, I said. They did. Daniel looked at Rachel with disgust. We're done. The engagement is over. Don't contact me. Don't come to the apartment. I'll have your things sent to your parents' house. Daniel, please, Rachel reached for him. He stepped back. Don't touch me. I can't even look at you. He walked out of the reception. Several guests followed him, probably to make sure he was okay. Marcus was still staring at Rachel. You were going to marry him? While sleeping with me? And you got pregnant and didn't tell me? I didn't want to complicate things. You were pregnant with my baby. You were getting married. Rachel screamed. To my best friend. What was I supposed to do? Not sleep with me in the first place, Marcus shouted back. I picked up the microphone again. Everyone quieted down. Just so everyone knows, I'll be filing for an annulment on Monday. This marriage is over before it started. Marcus, you can keep the rings. Consider them severance pay for wasting 3 years of my life. I turned to Rachel. And you? You're fired as my maid of honor, obviously. Also fired as my friend. I never want to see you again. Rachel was sobbing. Jen, please. I'm so sorry. I never meant for this to happen. You never meant to get caught, I corrected. There's a difference. I walked off the platform, grabbed a bottle of champagne from the nearest table, and headed for the exit. The reception continued in the most surreal way. Half the guests left, mostly Rachel and Marcus's friends who couldn't handle the drama. The other half stayed, fascinated by the spectacle. My actual friends rallied around me. We drank champagne. We ate the expensive dinner. We even danced. You're the calmest bride I've ever seen who just found out her husband was cheating, one friend said. I'm in shock, I admitted. The breakdown will come later. For now, I'm just numb. Rachel tried to approach me once. Security stopped her. Ma'am, you need to leave. I need to talk to Jennifer. No, you don't, I called out. Leave. Now. She left, crying, her bridesmaid dress ruined with mascara tears. Marcus tried to talk to me too. Jennifer, please. Can we talk privately? There's nothing to say. You cheated on me with my best friend for 8 months. On our wedding day. 30 minutes before the ceremony. What is there to talk about? I made a mistake, an 8-month mistake. That got someone pregnant. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Multiple choices. I do love you. No, you don't. And honestly, I don't love you either. Not anymore. You killed that in one photo. He left eventually, defeated. The aftermath was spectacular. Catherine filed for divorce Monday morning. Richard tried to contest it, but the evidence was overwhelming. Photos, witnesses, credit card records showing payments to Elise over years. Catherine got the house, half the business, spousal support, and the satisfaction of destroying Richard's reputation in their social circle. Marcus tried to reach out to me multiple times. I blocked him. The annulment went through without contest. Elise's wedding planning business collapsed. Catherine made good on her threat, everyone they knew blacklisted her. She went from planning society weddings to working as an event coordinator at a hotel. And here's the truly satisfying part, Richard and Elise didn't stay together. Once the affair was exposed, once the excitement and secrecy were gone, they had nothing. They broke up within 3 months. Marcus tried to win her back. She rejected him. Last I heard, Marcus is single and miserable. As for me, I took the money I would have spent on a honeymoon and traveled Europe solo for a month. I learned that I'm actually pretty great company for myself. I'm dating again now. Casually. Taking my time. And I have one non-negotiable rule, I plan my own events. No wedding planners who might sleep with my partner. People ask me if I regret playing those photos at the reception. If I should have handled it more discreetly. My answer? Hell no. Marcus cheated on me 30 minutes before our wedding. With a woman his father had been sleeping with for 12 years. That's not a private humiliation. That's a public spectacle that deserved a public reveal. And honestly, the look on everyone's faces when they realized a father and son had been sleeping with the same woman was worth any embarrassment I felt. Catherine and I are friends now. Strange, but true. We meet for coffee sometimes. She's thriving post-divorce, dating, traveling, finally living for herself. She told me once, "Thank you for exposing everything. I might have wasted another 10 years if you hadn't." "Thank David, the photographer," I said. "He's the one who showed me the photos." "I sent him a very generous tip," she said with a smile. So that's my story. I found out my husband was cheating on our wedding day. I married him anyway. And then I burned his life to the ground in front of everyone he knew. Would I do it again? Absolutely. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't staying silent. It's turning the lights on and letting everyone see exactly who they're dealing with. The wedding cost $75,000. Richard paid for half. I like to think he got his money's worth in entertainment. And me. I got something priceless, freedom, clarity, and one hell of a story.